I'm going to talk about the cultural diversity. First of all, I will introduce the three places. It is the Tokyo, Beijing, and Vancouver. And I will talk about the location for these three places. First of all, the Vancouver is Canada's westernmost province, situated between the Pacific Ocean and the Rocky Mountain. And for the Tokyo, as we know, is the capital city of the Japan, and is located at the head of the Tokyo Bay on the Pacific coast of the central Honshu. And for Beijing, it's also the capital city of the China. It's located in North China at the northern tip of the North China Plain. And unlike the other two places, which are both coastal cities, and Beijing is an inland city. This Beijing, this Vancouver, and this Tokyo. Then I will start with the culture to introduce the similarities, differences, and the connections between these three places. First of all, I will introduce why I choose these three places. The first reason is that I am familiar with these three places. I have lived and studied in Beijing and Vancouver. I have traveled to Japan. Then, the cultural characteristics of these three places are obviously and representative. And the third reason is that these three cities are well known. Then, I will talk about how these places have impacted me. And I will talk about Beijing first. Beijing is the place where I was born and grew up, and it is also my hometown. I have witnessed the changes in Beijing for so many years, and the emotions I can't give up with her. And these three pictures is all of my these three pictures is I take in Beijing. And in the picture on the left is a picture of my parents and I traveling to the suburb of the Beijing, and the view is so good. And the picture on the upper right corner is my graduation photo. My high school is called the Beijing number 25 middle school, and it's in the Dongcheng district of Beijing. And the picture on the lower right corner is my friends and I drank a famous coffee in China. It's called the Luckin Coffee after school. And the photo I was taking is at the famous commercial street called the Wang Fujing Street. I think many foreigner tourisms, if they want to buy something in Beijing, I think they will go to the Wang Fujing Street. It's really famous and well known. Then I will talk about the Vancouver. To be honest, I just came here for half of the year, and I came here for study. I really like the climate and the local customs here. People are really peaceful and helpful. And the last picture I took is in the park, which is near my house, and I was eating packet Korean food. And the middle and the right picture is I took in the Deer Lake. It's quite a famous park in Vancouver, Burnaby. I really like the ecological environment and the beautiful scenario of the park. Then I will talk about the Japan. I went to the Japan in 2017, the summer vacation. I went to Tokyo with my parents. I like this city very much. The bustling commercial metropolism, delicious food, and paradise along the streets are all very interesting. And the left picture and the upper right picture is I took in the Sensojin Temple, which is located in Asakusa, Tokyo. This temple attracts many tourists from all over the world every year, and so we came to here, and it has a really strong flavor of the Chinese culture. And in the middle of the picture is we take in the narrow park. This is the deer, and they are really cute and polite. Then I will describe how these places have impacted me and my story. First of all, I will talk about the Beijing. I will introduce three aspects of the Beijing. First of all, the traditional festival. As we know, the most traditional one is the Spring Festival. And at this moment, all of the family members will get together to have a dinner and just swing and watch the Spring Festival Gala. And the lower right corner of the pictures I took in the last spring festival, and all of my family members are together and enjoy this food. And then I will talk about the virtue in China. In China, respect the old and love the young is a really important virtue. For example, when we are eating, you need to wait for the elderly to move their chopsticks so then the others one can eat. Besides the respect the old, no food waste is also important. I think it's also important in all over the world instead of the China. Then I will talk about the eating habits in Beijing. This picture, the snack in this picture is called the rolling donkey. It's really, really famous and really traditional snacks in Beijing. But to be honest, I don't really like this. But many foreign tourists, when they taste this, they said it's really good. Maybe different people have different taste styles, you know. But my favorite drink in Beijing is the mung bean milk. Many people can't taste this milk because it smells really weird. But to be honest, it's really good for our health. I think the mung bean is has the same function as the natto in Japan. It's good for our health. Then I will talk about the Vancouver. When I came to Vancouver, I found that some living habits are really different from those in China. For example, buses in Beijing will stop at every stop regardless of the whether there are people or not. But in Vancouver, passengers need to press a button to remind the driver. Otherwise, the driver will think that no one wants to get off and will not stop. So, if you don't want to miss the bus, you will focus on the every stop. Well, the second one is these two pictures I took in the Halloween party, which is held by the elder student. This party is help us to meet our new friends, and also celebrate the Halloween. We call the pumping together and also play the card game. Yeah. Then I will introduce the food in Vancouver. As we know, Canada is a very tolerant country. You can meet people from different countries here, and at the same time, you can feel how far away the culture is. For example, you can eat exotic Korean food and Japanese food here, and because it's are all made by their local peoples. This picture I took is in Richmond. I screenshot from Google. It tastes really good. It's Afghan cuisine. Yeah, really delicious. Then I will talk about the Tokyo. When I came to Tokyo, I ate many enthusiastic ramen noodles. These two noodles I take in the Tokyo. The first one is called the dipping noodles. It's put in the soups. And the next one is the char siu noodles. The meat tastes so good. And and besides the eating, the Japanese has really obviously eating habits, which is they will before the meal they will put the hand together and say I'm going to eat. These are traditional eating habits in Japan, like the picture shows. And do as local do, I also do that before I eat the every meal. And the left picture is the Tokyo Tower. Is really famous, as we know. Then I will introduce the Japanese. This picture is in English called hello, and in Japan, Japanese called konnichiwa. And the next in English is called the goodbye, and in Japan we call it sayonara. It's quite interesting, Japanese. Then I will talk about the interconnected of the different culture. First of all, the language. This picture is obviously the American. And in Japan, how we call the American is pronounced really similar. It's called America, right? And then the coffee. In China, we call the coffee as coffee. In English, we call the coffee. And in Japan, it's also called the coffee. Yeah, they pronounce really same in the three different language. Then, as we see, we see the Chinese. The left one, maybe some people will think it's the simplified Chinese that is. And for the right ones, some people maybe think that is a traditional Chinese. But it's not the traditional Chinese, it's the Japanese. They are just look like really same. And I will talk about the food. I will introduce the rice and the tea first. First, rice love between China and Japan. Rice has been the staple food of the Chinese and Japanese since ancient times. Everyone knows it is also one of the most important energy sources. Rice suitable for growing in the local climate was planted along the banks of the Yangtze River and the Yellow River in ancient China. This kind of planting technology was introduced to Japan 20,000 and 30,000 years ago and became the origin of the Japanese rice. Then, the origin of the tea ceremony in China and Japan. It is well known that although the tea ceremony originated in China, it has spread and blossomed in Japan, and now it has become a representative of Japanese traditional culture. And whether in China or Japan, drinking tea has undoubtedly become a habit when receiving guests and before and after meals. China is the first country to discover and use the tea trees, and is the motherland of tea. After tea was introduced to Japan, tea culture was nurtured in Tokyo. The Japanese eminent monk came to China in the 20th year of the Tang Yuan. And then, when he returned to China, he brought a Geog tea suite back to China and spread it, which is marked the beginning of the Japanese tea culture. Although the regions are different, what China and Japan are pursuing is the same state of the tea ceremony, a quiet environment, a relaxed and open mind, and spiritual sublimation. My friend, or I think my mother and father are big fan of the drinking the tea because they think the tea is really healthy, and the tea is also have like the similar function. Like the coffee is also help us to refresh our brain and more focus on the stuff that we want to do today. And then when I go to the Tokyo, every stop like in the restaurant will provide a free barley tea. I think that's really similar between the China and the Japanese culture. Then I will talk about the drinks between the Western and the Eastern. In China, many people prefer to drink the soy milk as their breakfast, but in like the America, Canada, or other Western countries, they used to drink the milk. And the fourth one is the potatoes. Potatoes are popular around the world. Chinese people prefer to like to cut the potatoes into shreds or silence and stir fry them with the pork. And Western prefer to make the French fries or stewed with the beef. And the fourth one is the many Western foods are also really popular with the Eastern now, such as the burgers. The appearance of the burger is really similar to that of the Chinese 肉夹馍. This one is the burger, and this one is the 肉夹馍. As we can see, the exterior are really same. It's both the two slices of the bread dough with the meat between them. Then I will talk about besides this, I think I also want to mention about how interconnected between the culture. As you guys know, I am living in Vancouver right now for study, and Vancouver is getting all the cultures from every aspect of every place of the world. And although I'm in Vancouver, I can also like enjoy the many Chinese food because there's a supermarket called TNT, and many Chinese people prefer to go to the supermarket and to buy the local food from the China. And if you want to buy some like the dish or the chopstick, which is from Japan, you can go to the Omomo. It's also really popular, and you can find it in Richmond, Burnaby, Vancouver. Yeah, this is really popular one. So this is what I want to mention about. It's also the interconnection between the agriculture. Then I will talk about the religions. Canada is famous for the Christian, and in China, the main religion is the Daoism and the Dobuhism. In Japan, it's the Shinto and the Dobuhism. As a philosophical category, religious belief has a distinctive feature of the seeking support and meaning for life. It symbolizes people's desire for ultimate care. It injects a sacred goal into people, guides people to reflect on themselves, surpass themselves, shape themselves, improve themselves, and realize themselves, thereby providing a foundation for people's life with emotions, desire, and actions, etc. It is kind of the vertical looking up the living water of life and the directional from of human value consciousness. Then the entertainment. This three picture is all from the Japan. As we know, Japan is famous for the manga, pachinko, and cosplay. These three are the immensely popular parts of the Japanese pop culture entertainment today. And for China, as we know, they have the short video platforms such as it's called the TikTok in the US or Canada. And beside the martial arts, like this one, this man did, it's really popular. Beside the China, also really popular in the Western countries. And for Canada, as we know, it's really famous for their outdoor sports like the skiing and play hockey. That's all I want to mention about. And at last, I want to say that it is these diverse cultures that make our life no longer monotonous and more colorful. Every culture is unique and meaningful, and we should accept a different culture with a tolerant attitude. And that's all. Thank you for listening.